Welcome back to Shifting Overthinking to Marketing Movement, a limited audio series for creative, equity-led solopreneurs with a story and expertise to share. This gets you out of your own head to find clarity and direction so you can build sustainable marketing processes that fit your body, brain, and capacity. In this final episode of the audio series, we're breaking down the Story Spark roadmap and how to apply the milestones and systems to prioritize action steps in your business. If you haven't yet downloaded this, I have both a printable and editable version over at nextwildstories.com/overthinking-marketing. Go get that and come back because that's what we're going to discuss next. When you spend any amount of time in an online entrepreneur space, you get hit with the education firehose. You need a VIP day. No, wait. You need digital products. No, you need to be signing corporate contracts. It's better to productize your offer. Go build a course. And that's even just on what you should be selling, not how to do it or how to get in front of people. I said this in a reel before, but I want to say it on this series. Is it shiny object syndrome or are you just overstimulated? The algorithm, our inbox, these all make us feel scattered and unfocused by design. I want to be clear that I'm not saying folks are trying to mislead you. I believe that everything does work, but not everything works for you. This is why I am platform or format agnostic. I'm not here being a podcast producer or like a videographer or Pinterest manager or, something that is specific to a tactic. When you are ready to build flagship or ongoing nurture content, it should be connected to what you find enjoyable and what you are strong in. I have a YouTube channel because I believe in using video to repurpose and I understand the concept. And I do reasonably well with scripting and recording video. But at the editing stage, I would get hit with just insane blocks around wanting to get it done and just resisting that editing process. I've never managed to be consistent for this for longer than a month or two. And yes, I can outsource that to a video editor, but in early stages, or if I want to do it for other folks, I need to be able to DIY it to get that initial traction. On the flip side, doing this, editing the audio for this series, feels like a breeze. I don't think I've ever procrastinated on doing this at all. And so harnessing your strengths, it takes experimentation. And I want to give you permission to abandon the projects or ongoing tasks that feel draining or you're resisting or you don't feel pulled or passionate about being consistent with it or completing. That is trying to tell you something. So looking at the Story Spark roadmap, I have 4 phases or systems that I build with or alongside my clients. We've discussed them through the series. I've given you action steps to take throughout. But I also wanted to use this episode as a way to decide for yourself what comes next and where you want to prioritize your spoons. So phase 1, uncover your unique value. You're probably now tired of hearing me talk about messaging, so I will keep this as brief as possible. Clarifying your core message, if you haven't already, is one of the most impactful aspects you can focus on. It doesn't have to be intricate. You can have a Google document with elevator pitches and positioning statements, or just reusable ways to describe your work and offers. In fact, I have one that I copy and paste from all of the time. You can also make this an external facing touch point to get feedback on, like a capabilities deck or like a one-pager. This is also where just an outside perspective really comes in handy. We're so close to our own work, it becomes hard to explain it to others. You'll have a good command of this phase when you have people remembering your business unprompted, when you're having folks approach you for your subject matter of expertise for visibility opportunities, and you start to feel proud of, or at least not embarrassed by, your website copy because it's clear and describes what you're doing. Phase 2, cultivate a content ecosystem. So I love the content ecosystem building phase because it reminds me of my tabletop gaming days and the choose your own adventure books from when we were younger. You get to build the sandbox that your ideal clients play in to feel supported and educated. Here's where it's easy to get stuck. This is more on the strategy side. This is the blueprint that helps you decide what structures to build. You don't have to move on from this only after everything has been written and published. The goal here is to know what topics and potentially even the titles will serve on the different levels to your content system. The surface level topics are questions that serve as a way to introduce your work and possibly topics to pitch for visibility. Deeper ways to engage in your work, including your flagship content and resources. And start to think through the themes or pillars that will show up in your ongoing nurture content. You're not married to these choices, but the big picture helps your marketing and sales come together more intentionally and feel interconnected because it is. Without this, reactively created content takes so much more energy and frankly just isn't as effective because it's disjointed from each other. You'll know that this is working not because every branch or tree on the content ecosystem is filled out, but your pathway forward for what to write or record becomes clear. Here, I started on writing my pinned 3 grid of Instagram posts because I wanted an external place to direct people to, and grouped it in 3 ways, like me and my story, the process or framework that you take folks through, and the third being your offers and how to work with you and the why they should work with you. So this took the external pressure off of having ongoing social because it's pinned, but also it was a nice bite-sized version of the content I planned to create in the long term for my flagship content that eventually became this audio series. This also helped get feedback, so I wasn't completely tinkering by myself without getting feedback from the people that I was trying to talk to. You can have a little bit of both, have that strategy, but also have a piece that is able to get that feedback and get that traction around. Phase 3 is what I call Spark Repeatable Sales Strategy. This is the point where we're moving out of strategy and we're moving into the creation and the implementation of the plans and strategies that we've created. So I talked enough about sales to cover 2 episodes. So I'll just say you'll know really when you're on your way with this and this is coming together when you do have that flagship content with a clear call to action toward your services. And then also somewhere to point folks when they're not quite ready yet. This doesn't have to be intricate with a bunch of email sequences and automations. You can keep it simple, like a project management system where you keep track of the folks that you're currently talking to, where they're at in the process, and set maybe due dates of when to follow up with them. Later, you can layer in complexity or polish and optimize your flagship content once it's already out there. And again, once you're getting that feedback from other people, from your ideal clients on it. More than anything, it just needs to be published and put out there into the world first. So phase 4 is capacity building marketing processes. I put this at the end, but this is something that really throughout the process can help prevent us from exhausting or pushing ourselves too far. I think that it does definitely need to be in place before we're committing to any bigger projects or creating the ongoing nurture content. We talked about this last episode, but getting a flare or falling off isn't a sign that you have failed here. It's a part of the cycle, and honestly, it's part of being a human being. In my experience, you never fully master this system, but you'll know that you're prioritizing your capacity when you're able to listen to your body's signals and adjust your schedule appropriately. When you are further along working on these systems, you'll also have that media library where you dip into during your slow periods. You'll have stuff that is evergreen that can come out periodically, like every 3 to 6 months. So all these will come together to prioritize your marketing that feeds your business instead of the algorithms and tech billionaires. We are giving ideal clients a way to engage in our body of work in ways that feel good for them and are more effective to sustain our businesses and give us lives that don't rely on an endless stream of content to keep afloat. You don't have to do all of this at first. Look at what would make the most difference to your business, or what is taking you the most time, or where there is a leak in where you are, where clients maybe are falling off. You can take this in order. In fact, I recommend it. That's why I structured it that way. But you can also use the energy tracking you've done previously as a guide for what feels doable to you right now, or what you should work on first if you're when you're feeling up to it, so that you can shift out of overthinking your next steps. I plan to walk my talk. I discussed in the Asking for the Sale Without Anxiety episode how to feel good about your pitch. So if you'll bear with me, I'm going to discuss how to work with me to continue the work if you decide that we are a good fit. If you like the idea of creating flagship content to promote your business, but know you don't have the time or energy to do that, you can have me write this for you. But for this audio series, I'm going to discuss Story Spark Connection, which is my offer that gives you support so you have everything you need to write and implement for yourself with me in your back pocket with you the whole way. We do this through one-on-one strategy sessions, a robust resource library, asynchronous feedback, and personalized integration time built into the 3 months that we're working together. So I'm going to address a couple of questions that I feel like come up from this pretty regularly. What type of role is this? For this specific offer, I wouldn't say that it's coaching. I feel like it's more like guided strategy and just having your hand held through each of these phases of the process. I hand over templates and resources that I've created for each aspect of this, including your messaging, the content ecosystem, the sales process, marketing implementation. We have 3 strategy calls that discuss a plan on each of these growth systems and how to weave in your uniqueness, your values, and your capacity. From there, we have a monthly integration session that gives you space to develop that impactful marketing materials, and you get the feedback to break out of overthinking and to be told when you're on the right track, or maybe we should reword or polish this in a little bit different way. Call this role what makes the most sense to you. Strategist, advisor, coach, mentor. I just want to give you every tool possible to build a sustainable marketing practice that you can iterate on and evolve with as your needs change. So you'll always have access to these resources. So what deliverables do I get and what do they help me to do? In Story Spark Connection, you walk away with a roadmap that helps you prioritize which steps to take that are going to have the most impact. This could be revamping your messaging, updating your website to reflect a pivot in offerings or who you serve, or creating a follow-up process for inquiries and sales calls to explain your offers. But more than this, we work through your messaging, your content ecosystem, and your sales strategy to help you talk about your work with more ease and less confusion. You're given the templates to build marketing systems with time to implement and feedback, so you're not spending weeks or months on getting it just right. In 3 months, you have one system ready to go, released into the world, to promote your work, and a comprehensive playbook that outlines the steps to continue the work and how to plan for your fluctuating capacity. Saving you spoons is priceless. Unless you're neurodivergent, chronically ill, or disabled, you probably don't think about how much of your mental load goes into making decisions. But we are, and you can probably understand that this sucks. This is especially true when you're self-employed and you're wearing all of the hats in your business. This is why I created the Shifting Overthinking audio series to begin with. But don't underestimate the power of having a back pocket marketing strategist that you can offload some of the creative problem solving to. Do you need validation that you're on the right track with the best practices and data to back it up? I can do that. Do you need encouragement to do the damn thing? I can help find ways to make it feel enjoyable instead of a drag. Need to be told to go sit on the couch because you have a migraine, but you're still convinced you should be working? Oh goodness, I can do that. If you are ready to co-create a unique marketing plan that matches your capacity, lay the groundwork strategies that your marketing can build on, while taking it off of the back burner without burning out through clear prioritized action steps so that you can grow your audience and attract clients, but not at the price of your well-being or values. Let's discuss what this could look like for you. You can go to bit.ly/story-chat and we can discuss that. But if now is not the right time, that is okay. You can join us over at the Story Spark Lounge, where we gather and discuss balancing our lives and obligations with building a creative business in a place you don't have to perform. I'm holding a bonus session of this audio series where we're going to gather together and discuss the 3 most common places we overthink: topics, titles, and tech. So if you have the roadmap, you'll get all the details for that in your email. I won't be seeing you in the next one. But I appreciate you sticking around this whole time. This is something that's been a labor of love, and like I said, I don't want to say goodbye to it, so you may see more in the future, but I can't promise when that will be, because I do like, with the flagship concept, the self-contained nature of this. This can serve on its own. So if this is something that really feels good for you, of like, yes, I want something self-contained like this audio series, this is what we do together. Thank you again, and I will see you around the internet.